Why is breast cancer increasing among teenage girls? We have a paper. Early sexual maturity and milk hormones. This is not just picking on the dairy industry. Hormones are in everything. Milk, chicken, beef. Oh, everything is loaded with hormones these days. Because the more you give hormones to things, when you give hormones to cattle, they grow big and fat very fast. And for some unknown reason, we're getting big and fat very fast. They can't figure it out. Okay. They thought it was only affecting those cows. It affects us too. Hello. Over the last 100 years, the weight of a cow, in the last 50 years, the weight of a cow have doubled in size. You should see what they have done to pigs now. They can't even walk. Okay. By pumping them up with drugs. They're doing this to everything. They got chickens now, especially turkeys, which have so much white meat, their breasts is... Okay, we eat all this stuff, and then we're surprised that our 12-year-old is like, hello, you know what I'm saying, don't you? It's getting really bad out there. Perfect example of how bad it is let's take Japan for example. Because if you use American, they're going to say, okay, in Japan, back in the 1950s, Japan they had almost no dairy in their diet at all. They live on an island. There's no room for cattle. The average Japanese only weighed, let me see, they only ate 5.5 pounds of dairy per year. Now the average Japanese, because of our imports, 117.4 pounds of dairy a year. Whew, that's an increase right there. They're pumping it. Okay. That's milk, cheese, everything. The average Japanese girl used to go through puberty. Now they're going to puberty at 12 years old. And they used to be at, what was the number before? Like 50. See? Dramatically changed. Because of all the stuff they put in the cattle. This is why these girls today are pumped. Okay. And the earlier you mature, it's cancer. See, even people that drink a lot of milk. This is where people, you can get what they call... milk is full of calcium. You can get calcium deposits in your joints, right? You can get calcium deposits. That's one thing that makes you have stones. It's the reason why you can get calcium deposits everywhere if you drink way too much milk. Okay. Calcium is good. You need it, but you don't need too much. And the problem is we are eating not only too much. See, milk is protein. We're not even drinking milk and cheese. We got pork, we got chicken, we're just mucho carne. And we're just pumping it. And it's blowing us up. This is the reason why in China is dramatic. They were showing this on the news. When you go to the outer provinces in China, it looks like you're in the rice paddy. Everybody's very super thin. And you get what I'm saying? Once they move to Shanghai or Beijing or those big cities, they blow up like a balloon. Okay, you just blow air into it. They're eating everything. What is going on in the milk industry, with the cattle industry, with chicken? They're into making giant money. They can now take a chicken from egg to harvest in 21 days. Okay, it's harvest. You see. It's not the chicken grow up and you slaughter it. It's harvesting. Okay. They got dollar signs in their head. Okay. And if they can shorten that to 19 days, they'll do it. Because that's so much more money they can make. This is why these dairy cows, you see how they got them lined up. And they just... You got feed going in one end, milk coming out the other end. It's beautiful. You know what I'm saying, don't you? Okay. And they're shooting them with everything imaginable to make sure that production is at a maximum. So, it's money, right? The days of having that cow out there and you just feeding them, you milking them once or twice a day, this is over. Okay. You're in the mass production these days. And the amount of milk products we consume in America have dramatically increased over time. When this was written, Americans consumed 27.7 pounds of cheese in the year 1994 per person. Massive. Okay, massive. So this is the problem that we're having. The problem is, this is not just a problem with milk, it's a problem with everything. Hormones they're putting in everything. And what we have to do, if we care about our kids, and we don't want these kids at the flea market, some of these kids are only this big. I want to try on your rings. They can't even wear a size 11, won't even go. You know what I'm saying? You don't have rings bigger than this. That's the biggest you got.
They got big fat fingers.
Those are dinosaur sizes. In 11, you know the average male in this country, a man ring around 1940 was only a 9, 10. Now you got kids can't even fit an 11 on their finger. We're dinosaurs.
Once they put it on, they can take it off.
You got kids wearing, there was a guy at the flea market. He wanted to know, what did I have a size 15 ring? Okay. That's the size he said his wedding ring is. He had to custom order it because he needed a 15 ready. That didn't even exist before. 12 was considered large. 15? You got kids now that's wearing size 13, 14 shoes.
Well, you're going to order some larger size rings so you can accommodate them people.
The problem is we don't need to accommodate them. We got to quit blowing them up. And then when we figure out they got diabetes, they got this, they got high blood pressure, they got all these problems, right? I know when I was a kid, I was only this big and I was this wide. And gosh, I was sweating and I had a lot of problems, but I was eating. I used to work in the lunchroom, so I used to clean up the tables, because then I could eat all the lunches I want. Oh, it was party time. It was just party time. So that's the way we're raised. So we are killing ourselves. We're eating ourselves to extinction. We have to protect ourselves, and we have to protect especially a lot of girls, especially is going through puberty early, but even men are having problems now. And the earlier you start it's good, people say it's good to start early, but then on the backside of that, instead of you lasting way out to here, you start having those problems way over here, right? Because when you start early, you end early. When you start late, you keep going. So a lot of men are having a lot of problems now. This is the reason so many people are taking these pills for erectile dysfunction. And they're not all 50, 60, 70-year-old men. A lot of men, some men even in their 40s and things, need a little assistance. Okay. It's getting bad up there. So we have to watch ourselves and take care of ourselves. The main thing we need to do, I'm not saying don't drink milk or don't do this. The secret is moderation, but we need something called verduras, vegetables. We need to eat more vegetables, especially raw vegetables. And if you eat meat and vegetables, that means you're going to put less meat because you got to make room for those vegetables on there, right? And if you put those vegetables and a little bit of rice, instead of the meat taking the entire plate, you got to start pushing the meat over to fit the other things on the plate, right? That means you cut down on meat. We got to eat more natural stuff. The problem is, as the world is going, there's fewer and fewer natural things out there.